I met a Gypsy.
But I think that they don't have the time, right? Like, I mean, you look at moto, right? You're running 250s, you're doing Loretta's, you're doing all your schoolboy stuff, like the small classes.
Yeah, you can.
But you're like inching up through it.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be. Most kids are, what are they, 16? You start at 16 or something, right?
Yeah,
if you're good enough.
Yeah, like these days, so I was going to ask what age a lot of guys are going, like elite these days in downhill.
So they're not allowed to go until they're 18.
Yeah, okay.
So Zink and I we had 16, 17, 18 to be able to go to juniors, right? We didn't have a junior class.
Yep.
Unless we were at Worlds. But we could go to Worlds at 16. Nowadays it's 17, 18. So I got one extra year of like getting used to it. And so, I mean, granted, I didn't have, at the World Cups, I didn't have a junior class. Like, I was just racing pro, but at least I got to go, Worlds and so on. But nowadays, they have a junior class, but they only get 2 years of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, your first year, you're just like, what's going on? Where do I get my Fruity Pebbles? Or, you're just a kid, right? How do I do this? Oh, I'm in the airport. Oh, I'm over here now, and like, you're thinking at that age, too, you're just like, I got to learn fast.
Oh, and the pressure and like the speed that the guys are, obviously it's good to be exposed to it, but yeah.
It's good. I just think they need more exposure. They need another year. Bring it back to 16. And I almost feel like there shouldn't be an age. Like, if you can qualify and be in those ranks, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple kids. There's Ryder, you had his dad, you had Randy on.
Oh, yeah, Ryder Lawrence.
Why not to me, like, we've been letting Ryder at our races, like, do certain races, and we're like, yeah, get in there. Yeah. Go do it. And certain kids are like, hey, get in there. Go to get that experience.
There's another kid that he's close with, like the two of them are like gnarly, eh?
Super fast.
Really?
Asa, you talking about Asa?
Oh, I just know.
Asa from Matt, yeah. Dude,
yeah, there's another.
Insane.
They're both just like killing it.
So, exactly. They're not even eligible to race.
Yeah.
For another, what is it, maybe another year, I'm guessing, don't quote me. They're not even eligible for another year. But why wouldn't you want them out there trying to do it? You know what I mean? Instead of just like, no, not possible.
No possible.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're
like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm like definitely a rule bender.
Yeah.
But
hey, I'm fucking here with it. Yeah, but it's it does make sense to, I guess, like, yeah, let them have more time to develop. And I think the same thing in moto. Like, I wish that. So you essentially, it's the same thing for moto. Like, you go pro at 16, 17, and then you've got a 2-year contract. And if you can't mix it up with the big boys, then get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And I think that we're cooking it in the sense that you've got all of these kids that are so gnarly, but they're getting drowned out by the guys that are, 23, 24, 25. Like, think about how much your body just changes in those years,
Yeah.
So it's like, why? Could you imagine how good a class would be where it was like the combine class? Like, how they do the combines?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go in and at all of these races, you've got, imagine if it was like Hayden Deegan, Ryder D, like Nick Romano, like just all of these young dudes that are just fully shredding. Yeah. And you put all of them in a class of their own and just same weekend as the Nationals, like put them on TV. Dude, it's the same as like the downhill stuff. The top guys are going so fucking fast in that age. Like, it is entertaining to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, it's a series you could follow.
Because I'm not like, I love moto and I'm a fan, but does like the Ricky thing, the Supercross, does that help out like the generation?
For sure, I think, yeah. Like, it
seems like it.
So now they're doing the futures.
Yeah.
So I think it's at 5 rounds this year. But like, do you remember?
That's dope.
Do you remember Deegan at A1 at the futures race?
I do, yeah.
He fucking sucked. Like, he got smoked.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like, they almost just were like, "Hey, you're not going pro this year."
Back it up.
Based
You're
off
not
that
ready.
one race. But look at what it did for him.
Exactly. Like, if he wasn't out there, that maybe it would have been prolonged into that, like to the next year, and then it would have started from that point instead of where he's at now.
Yeah, well,
right?
It gave him the biggest reality check.
Yeah.
To where he was like, "Oh shit, I really still have a lot of work to do."
Yeah.
And and even he admitted, like, for all the confidence that he has, he was on that start line at A1 shitting his pants, just like you said.
Yeah.
Like, you're 16 and you're trying to make sure you're getting your flights, and no one, like the World Cups, dude, no one's speaking the same language.
Yeah.
You're changing languages almost every time that
every
you go
100
into
kilometers or something. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's different here now.
Yeah, got to pay tolls in like some weird ass money that's all colorful and funky. But you know, it is like a huge culture shock. But I just think the kids are so talented now that like I would, on my Saturday when the nationals are on, I would watch a class
100%.
that had like Deegan, Ryder D, Dax Bennick, like all those kids, and put him out there on the gnarliest track, and like, let's watch these kids fully send it. And it does actually, to your point, like it does actually bring them up, and it does like groom those kids for the professional career.
Well, then they're ready. I mean, dude, even like Goldstone, dude. I remember looking at like racing Crankworks and Whistler and looking over and like, what is that? And he was on like a Strider, just like hopping around doing threes, and like little dude just like, and I was like, oh, those are going to make kids really good bike riders. And then I was like, I had that like thought in my head when he won Mount St. Anne, right? Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, the Strider
kid.
Now that, and obviously I've known him for a long time after that, but I remember just like that, like the tools they have to, not only the confidence of seeing like, oh, you can do this and this, and then this equals this. Okay, I got that. And like how much everything's grown from there. But just the tools they have to be able to get to that point are insane.
Dude, it's so true. And so when I was first in America, like 2010, 11, 12 kind of, I remember Randy was training Ty Simmons at KTM. And so I remember going to his house and filming them do their thing. And Ryder was in the driveway on a fucking Strider jumping this thing, and I was just like, dude, that's kind. I don't think I'd ever seen one until I saw that kid exactly the same
as and then you watch it ride and you're like, oh, that makes sense. You're like, okay, cool.
Well, I wonder, it's the same. Have you ridden a Stark yet?
No,
dude. What's it, Parla? Do you ride Parla? Do you have a...
Dude, track wise, I did tracks for a long time with Zinc, like when I lived in Orange County here, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a track guy. Yeah. Until I got over it to the maintenance, and I was just like, man, I'm over this. And I quit for a long time. And for me now, it depends on, like, my track would be more like Kahia. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go. Kahia's nice out. I'll go there.
Okay, well.
But I would go to Paula. I would. My buddy Mitch Ropalato, he's on this whole like Loretta's chase. He's like getting it. He's like, oh, I'm after it. And I think he's gonna come down next week or something. He's like, hey, would you go if I came down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Could you do Paris? Could you do whatever track it is called now? He's like, or not Star West. It's not. What's it called anymore?
Yeah, Paris is still there. Star West is gone. Yeah.
He's like, oh, could we do this? And then Paula, and then Kahia, and then I was like, dude, my 125 is not even running. And believe it or not, my track bike is a 05 125. YZ.
Hey, that bike still stacks up.
Except for it doesn't run ever.
Yeah, well,
I'm a poor mechanic.
When they're good, they still stack up. We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.